Hello everyone, this is Nelson Sanchez with Frigid Fluid Company and welcome Frigid Talks. Today we have our first episode of the Frigid Talks. The Frigid Talks is a new content that we have out there. This is episode number 1 with Dr. Damon de la Cruz. We are recording out of Miami, Florida. This is where I am based and Dr. Damon is here helping us with some educational videos. That being said, Dr. Damon de la Cruz, welcome to Frigid Talks.
Thank you so much for having me, Nelson. This is fun.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Dr. Damon de la Cruz, Director of Education at Frigid Fluid. I'm an educator. I've worked as an embalmer for over 3 decades. A bachelor's degree in cell molecular bio, PhD in pathobiology.
Fanatic of Los Angeles Dodgers?
Currently, playoff season. So following the Dodgers. I think they're gonna take the National League. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. So that being said, I want to make sure that you get to know Dr. Damon a little bit more. Damon is someone that I listened to about 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago.
I've been with Frigid 4 years and some change. So
yeah, about 5 years ago, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about embalming, and everything that Damon was saying was music to my ears. It was science, it was information related to embalming, and it was very educational. So even if you wouldn't be sitting here, I appreciate all the stuff that you put out there.
Cool, good, yeah. No, I remember when you called me and you said, hey, what I was hearing was different because it was science-based information. It was kind of drilled down to the minutia, which when you're educating people, it's nice to do because it takes them as far as they can go and it gives them all the information they need. And that's when you said we want to educate people, I was right on board.
Yeah, and it's been fun. Dr. Damon's been traveling all over the world.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your journey here at Frigid so far.
Well, it's been amazing. My passport's getting filled up. I regularly visit different states. I get to embalm in different countries. As a person I went to mortuary school at 19, Nelson. And so I have always been an embalmer. That's who I am. I'm a funeral person.
19?
I was 19, yeah. So I started mortuary school. And so to have the opportunity I was in Krakow a couple weeks ago. I was in Poland and I'm going to be going to Saudi Arabia soon, and to embalm and interact with funeral people all over the world in multiple states. I get to visit care centers in different states. It's fun to work with people and learn about embalming myself and teach each other. So it's just been an amazing experience. I feel extremely fortunate.
Beautiful. Well, we love it. We're glad that you're here. I know that you put a lot of time. You have your educational your job as an educator, putting a lot of miles and traveling with us. So thank you very much. We've been to we've been to Mexico. We did the Embalmer conference in Mexico. We've been to Puerto Rico. We've been to Italy.
The Bahamas. Shark diving.
Yeah, the shark driver. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that experience. How was the Bahamas?
Bahamas was great. We went to visit people who sell medical supplies. Mm-hmm. They happen to also sell embalming supplies, which was kind of an interesting thing, which is great. And so they set up an arrangement with funeral directors. There was probably 10 of us there, and it was supposed to be a Saturday, Sunday, but Saturday fell through, and I was on the island by myself, and I had an extra day, so I thought, what could I do? Oh, there's a bucket list item. I could dive with some black tip reef sharks. And so we went down about 40 feet. They chum the water, and the sharks just kind of cruise around you, bump into you. It's kind of fun. They're big animals.
That's good. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, I remember we went there, and of course we got to run. Mm-hmm. For those of you that follow us, we're pretty active at Frigid Fluid Company. We have the support from the leadership, and everyone that's at Frigid tries to do something active. So we ran there. Tell us a little bit about your physical, like out of work activities. What do you do outside of work? What do you like to do? You used to be a skater.
I still push around, for sure. I still push. I also I still get in the water and paddle and surf as much as I can. I'm pretty busy, I'm pretty busy. But things I can do, I started doing a lot of triathlons with you. I picked up running a lot. I have a couple marathons coming up in the next several months. I have one in December, one in February. I do half marathons a lot. I like to stay active. I think with as much as I am sitting at a desk working, I try to move more than I'm sitting. And so the other day I was up at 3 just to get some running in because I knew I would be sitting at a desk for a while. So I definitely try to keep active. And honestly, Nelson, I notice when I have a string of 3 or 4 days when I haven't had any physical activity, I start to feel groggy and grumpy. And so I have to get out on a run. That's very therapeutic for me.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah.
Now, Damon, you mentioned that you started at 19 mortuary science.
Yeah.
And to be honest, what would you tell Damon of 19 years old Damon now?
Oh my God! You know what?
That's. Can I say your age?
Yeah, I'm 50.
Now that you're 50.
Yeah. Wow.
Just go back. I have a moment. So when I moved to the United States, there was a moment where this is spring of 2004. I flew to Chicago, and I remember when I got off the plane, that little gap in between the plane and the gate.
Yeah.
So cold because it was January in Chicago. And I'm like, oh my God! So as soon as we step out of the airport, I was gonna take a Coach USA bus to South Bend. And I remember feeling the cold, and that was the moment that I was 17. I was like, well, my life is gonna change when I face this. I think about that moment, like right now, I'm doing this awesome interview with you. So I reflect on that moment, but I want you to reflect on your 19-year-old Damon.
Yeah.
Now, what would you tell him? What are some of the differences?
It's really interesting. So at 19, I teach now at the school I went to at 19. And so as a 19-year-old, I was there, I had my skateboard, I was a skateboarder, and I would skateboard on the steps and the benches. And now I look at those steps and benches, I can still see grind marks, and I like to imagine that they were mine, because I was here doing that, But I think that moment where you stepped off the plane is an interesting moment, because for me, that moment was I worked in Ireland in 96 and 97. And I went to school, did my apprenticeship, got licensed, and during my license, like first year of licensure, I flew out to Ireland. But when I connected, I think in France, in Charles de Gaulle, and I was flying from France over to Ireland. And when I looked out the window and I saw the cliffs on the eastern side, the land on the eastern side of Ireland, I was like, oh, this is big change. This is going to change who I am. Like you're stepping off and feeling cold. I was just like, and this was a time before social media, and I moved to Nelson, I grew up in Los Angeles. I moved to a town that had 6,000 people.
From millions of people. Downtown Los Angeles.
Downtown LA. And so I was going over, and I landed, and I was just like, this is very different. And I remember I got in the car, and the guy that was driving me, who was my boss, was like, I was like, there's cows here. Like, we're in the countryside right away. And then we get to this town of 6,000 people, and there was one funeral home. So I worked at a funeral home. I was not from the town. There were 6,000 people. Everybody knew who I was right away. It was a very different experience. But, flying, when I looked out the plane, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to change my life. And it, in fact, it did. And what I would say to younger Damon, just enjoy the ride. I was coming out here to see you, and I still am just in awe of what my career did and how fortunate I've been to have the opportunities that I've had. And everything I did, I think, was just the right move. I always say, stay curious. I absolutely mean that. I'm constantly curious. I'm constantly like, what more can I do? What more is out there? I got my PhD simply because I wanted more answers. I already had a career in funeral service when I went and got my PhD. Many of the other students, PhD candidates, asked, why are you back in school? You already have a career. And I was like, there's questions I want to have answers to, because I'm just curious. But yeah, that moment when you just like, this is a big change. My life is, you can't go back from that moment.
So cool. I'm sure Damon enjoys that ride, and you have a long ride to go. Damon, for those that are watching Frigid Talk and haven't seen any of the videos, do you have any recommendations where they can follow you before we wrap it up?
Yeah, all kinds of social media,
webinars,
YouTube channels. We have webinars that we're doing at least once a month. What's nice is if you have topics that you want us to cover, let me know. You can find me on Frigid's website.
Or you can comment right here on this video.
Or comment on this video, absolutely. I'll have my contact information here. Let us know what you want to learn about. We can easily make that a possibility for sure. I love that. I love when people have written to me and said, hey, I want to learn this or that. But yeah, follow me on social media.
I'm Dr. Damon de la Cruz.
Dr. Damon de la Cruz, Embalm Calc. Yeah.
That's fun. All right. And then I just want you guys to know that we're going to be active. This is the first episode of Frigid Talk. You'll get to know more about Damon. If you have the opportunity to come to any of our webinars, let us know. Thank you for being the first guest here. It's always great to have you in the show at Frigid. thank you for everything that you do, not only for us at Frigid, but for all the embalmers around the world.
Yeah,
if you wanna say something to all of them, there's people from all over the world that are going to see this.
All right, everybody, from my heart, stay curious and just enjoy the ride, folks.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.